Hey, beautiful Virgo. Welcome to your reading for December 2025. I am Teresa, Doctor of Metaphysics and Mystic, here to illuminate your path. We're going to do a soul path reading, Virgo, to see where you are going this December, what supports you, what challenges you. We'll get some advice cards, and then we'll pull some oracle cards. God, Spirit, Universe, please bring truth, wisdom, and clarity to this reading for the Virgo family and help Virgo navigate to their highest and most blessed timeline. Thank you, Spirit. So beautiful, Spirit. Virgo, if I recall correctly, you were walking away from something in the last reading. It was like choosing differently for yourself in some way and walking away, if I recall. And it really does look like that's what's going on here for you still. All right. So big time. You have at the bottom of the decks, you have the Fool card and the Five of Swords. So the Fool card is taking a leap of faith. It's trusting Spirit. It's getting young again too in some way. You know, it's trusting again. Believing in yourself again, I believe, and with the Five of Swords, it's getting wise, getting clear on something, This is the goddess Athena, surrounded by her owls. This is definitely getting a higher perspective and understanding with the swords, getting wisdom, clarity, information, communication that helps you to change your mind, The fives are big changes. It's big change energy. And the swords is your mind and also communication. It could be changing how you communicate, where you get your information, that kind of thing as well. All right. So your path is beautiful. You have the Temperance card to the Justice card to the Wheel of Fortune card. Wow. Major changes. You also have the World card later in your reading, which is like again, major shifts. So the Temperance card is you are in the midst of becoming, beautiful Virgo. You're working on yourself. You're blending your fire and your water energy. And it could feel, Virgo, like you are making 2 steps forward, 1 step back with the Temperance. It could feel like you're taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It could, but that's okay. That's how it feels, but it's not what's happening. With the Temperance card, you're tempering steel or you're tempering glass. You're making it super hot in the fire and then dousing it in the water, but then doing it over and over again. So there's a couple things happening there. Number one, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to be heated up red hot and then doused in water. There's shocks involved and that kind of thing. But also you're creating another element. You're like doing alchemy on yourself, So there's only one way to do that. There's only way through, and that's through, and you're doing that. And I love it. So you're doing the Virgo thing. It's creating healing and a more holy, a more divine Virgo as well. And then you have Justice with the Temperance card. And Justice is, it is your heart as light as a feather. You put your heart in one part of the scale and the feather in the other, and you make sure that your heart is light as a feather. So, with the Temperance, you are working that out. You're doing a lot of shadow work, spirit work, self-inquiry, that kind of thing. But also you have a judgment coming in your favor. There's definitely something, the wheel is turning because you have the Wheel of Fortune with the Justice card. Justice is coming for Virgo. Good karma. Something that you have been working on. Something that you deserve is coming for you now. The Wheel of Fortune is about to change things. Going to change a lot of things because you have the World card too. So good. I'm glad. I'm a Virgo sun. I love it. Don't we always love change? Virgo is a very mutable sign. So we're very open to change. And I think that's one of our blessings. I think that's one of our strengths, beautiful Virgo. So we'll see. Temperance card is clarified with the Eight of Discs. So something that you've been working on, you've been working on yourself, I want to say, but that feeling of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, You know, it could have to do with your work. You know, you could have had to rework a lot of things and figure things out. And that is part of the refinement process. Because with the Eight of Pentacles, you are refining your craft, you're refining your skills, you're refining your communication, your content that you're creating, whatever it is that you're putting out, you're making it better. And with the Temperance, it's taking a while, you know, but that's part of your dharma. Like, you're supposed to be doing that. All right. And then Justice is clarified with the Ace of Swords. So again, in your favor, justice in your favor. You know, that's the sword of truth. The sword of truth comes, and then you get what, you know, what you have coming to you. You get what you deserve. You get the big payoff. For some of you, it's a payoff. I mean, that's not the meaning of it, but that just came out of my mouth. So there you go. Something that you've been waiting for and hoping for, you know, and it doesn't have to be like a court case or anything like that. You know, it could just be like, you know, you were waiting to hear if you were accepted into a certain program, or, you know, anything like that. You know, if you were going to get a job, or if you were, you know, it could be anything, you know. With the sword of truth, with the Ace of Swords, you know, this is Spirit saying, truth is on your side. Truth is working for you, and they know the truth now, with whoever they are. And then the Wheel of Fortune is clarified with the Nine of Discs. So the Nine of Discs and the Eight of Discs, okay? So the Eight of Discs is that working on something, and the Nine of Discs is getting that harvest. You know, you've created that harvest by yourself, for yourself. So for a lot of you, this is your own business. This is entrepreneurial energy too, right? This is self-sufficiency as well, you know, wisdom and self-sufficiency, because the Hermit is the nine of the major arcana. So the nines are all a reflection of the Hermit energy. And this is the Hermit of your earth element. It's your resources, right? Wisdom in resources, self-sufficiency in resources, and aloneness, you know, doing things on your own. So the wheel turning could make it so that you can open your own business, or that you can be more fruitful and productive on your own as well. And then the support position, what blesses you, what supports you, what gifts you have on this path is King of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. So the King of Pentacles is resources. Like, you could have an investor, you could have somebody who supports you quite literally with the King of Swords or the King of Pentacles. This is like a master. This could be having the Midas touch, you know. Definitely it feels like Midas touch energy. You know, of course, that's going to be supportive of you, but with the Eight of Swords, there's also a blockage that somehow benefits you. So something could make it so that you have to slow down. You know, with the swords, this could be news of something that slows you down. Don't worry, that's going to be for the better. It's going to somehow benefit you on your path. And it's going to bring clarity. You know, there could be just like a slow up so that you get that eagle eye perspective, and you have the Ace of Swords here, which is an eagle that flies high and gives you clarity, right? This is clarity and truth and wisdom. You have that here too. All right. So it's just the Eight of Swords is a blockage though, right? That somehow brings you that clarity. All right. And the King of Pentacles is clarified with the King of Cups. So two kings clarifying one another, mastery in some way. You know, you are a master of manifestation, and you do that by digging into your subconscious, digging deep into who you really are, remembering who you are with the King of Cups. This is soul retrieval energy. This is repressed memories coming to light, repressed feelings coming to light, and also deep subconscious feelings, you know, that you put behind your work. For a lot of you, take it as it resonates, okay? But it's also love, like it's a real empowered heart chakra, and it's understanding your emotional guidance system so well that you don't need a roadmap, okay? And then the Eight of Swords is clarified with the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords wants to go fast, you know. The Eight of Swords is a blockage. But look, the Knight of Swords has this owl. Again, that clarity and wisdom. Feels like, it feels like momentum, you know. It feels like the King of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords is a slowdown for sure, right? And that is benefiting you. And the Knight of Swords with the King of Cups, this is clearing that blockage, understanding, you know, with the King of Cups, really understanding what, you know, with the King of Cups, it's like going under the surface of the water, feeling around where the plug is and finally finding it and letting it go. And then the Knight of Swords is free to fly. So, you know, your freedom will come. There will be flight. And I'm seeing that. You know, you're riding the eagle, you know, and the eagle at the top of the Eight of Swords. But divine timing is at play. Okay. And then what challenges you is the King of Swords. Gosh, you have 3 kings. This is like super master energy. And the Seven of Swords, though. Okay, so we'll talk about this. What challenges you? The King of Swords and the Seven of Swords. The King of Swords is the master of his mind, and it's a mastermind. And it's mastering your air element, so your communication, that kind of thing, right? You could have an affliction with your communication, you know? You could have a lack of clarity. You know, you could feel like you're not an authority. You know, with the King of Swords, he's the ultimate authority. And with the Seven of Swords, this is literally imposter syndrome. So that's going to be a problem for you. That's why it's in your challenge position. There's always a remedy. All right. We have advice cards, but let's talk about the Seven of Swords and who you are, beautiful Virgo. This beautiful lit up crown chakra, this beautiful rack on this stag is wisdom that you've earned, you know, and you have the moon there in the midst, you know, your connection to spirit, your intuition that you need to trust, right? And the whiteness of you, the purity, the divinity of you, right? This is who you are. You are a spirit guide. When you find a white stag in the woods, you follow them and they lead you to your destiny. So there's a part of you that's a leader and a guide, and spiritually so. But then when you look at your reflection in the water, you see a little brown doe. There's no rack, you know, all limited by all those swords all around you. It's like the Eight of Swords energy, you know, it's like feeling like you can't move. That's a lot of this, but quite literally imposter syndrome here. Not knowing who you are, you know. So with the King of Swords, it's like not feeling like you are an authority, not feeling like you're entitled to say your words and speak out, you know. Could be being intimidated to speak out, you know, not wanting to step up in some way, you know. That's not true though, okay? The Eight of Wands is clarifying the King of Swords. So the Eight of Wands is momentum, right? But it's being carried. You're being carried by Archangel Metatron here under the night sky nuit. You know, you're not actually doing it. Spirit is doing it for you. You know, so trust that these aren't your words, that when you're in tune with spirit, those are spirit's words. It's like when I'm reading and I allow myself to get in the flow. I am not speaking these words. Spirit is speaking these words through me, you know, and it feels like that's what's happening here. You know, so trust that energy of channeling, trust the energy of inspiration, of divine inspiration, and you will be fine. And then the Seven of Swords is clarified with the Seven of Discs. So 2 sevens. 7 is a challenge, okay? So the Seven of Swords is a mental challenge, clarified with the physical challenge, basically, you know? The Seven of Discs is looking at, and in this card, you can really see alchemy, right? And you're doing alchemy on yourself here with the Temperance card, right? You're alchemizing things. This is the 7 visible planets. And, you know, the astrology, when the big wheel turns, like here, right? Because that's an astrological wheel right there. When the big wheel turns, things change all around, and it's going to continue to change. You know, you've changed. You've changed. You've grown. You've reached a point. You know, you have all these kings here. You are powerful. You are love-loving and lovable, and Spirit wants you to be happy. You are divine. You are bright. You are wise. You are the one, you know. And you've been working on yourself for a long time. You can see this, you know. So you have to trust that. You have to understand that and see that clearly. And then what your advice cards are is the Knight of Cups and the Four of Cups. Go after what you love. The Knight of Cups. Who cares what, you know, who cares if other people think it's a good idea? Who cares if you think it's going to unfold perfectly in this lifetime? The reward is going after what it is that you love, you know. And the Four of Cups is manifesting one cup after another and really like feeling like, gosh, you know, I'm not very good at this. This doesn't work very well. You have to keep going. You have to keep manifesting, you know, like you can't just be a great cup maker right out the gate, right? Your big grail, you have manifested it. You just have to turn around and see that. Like you have manifested your grail. But a lot of times we get discouraged when we're like, for instance, in relationship after relationship after relationship. And they're just saying you have to kiss a lot of toads before you kiss your prince, or a lot of frogs. And there's literally a frog right here. You know, it's that kind of thing. Like you have to create a lot of, you know, flawed things before you create perfect things. And you have the Eight of Discs here, creating one thing after another and really refining and honing your skill. So, you know, it's really doing that, but it's doing that for what it is that you really love. You know, don't waste your time working on what you don't love. With the Knight of Cups there, what you do love is here for you. That's what you should be putting your time and energy and resources on. And then the Ten of Cups is clarifying the Knight of Cups. For a lot of you, this is definitely love. Like this is love, love. I love it. Now, there's not a lot of other love cards in here, but there haven't been a lot of love cards for others either, you know. And it could just be like this month, that's not what it's all about, right? But there could definitely be love here for you, beautiful Virgo, and lean into that, trust it, embrace it, accept it. The Ten of Cups is the fullness of love. You know, it's like all of your hopes, wishes, and dreams coming true as well. So go after that. Go on a quest for your grail. Oh, that's hilarious. The Knight of Cups is on a quest for the grail, and here's the grail right here. You have manifested your grail. Okay? You have to just see it, turn around and find it, understand it, open your heart to receive it, right? And the Ten of Cups is like such a happy ending. It's a bittersweet ending. You can see that in the image here. I don't know if this is focusing because it's getting dark on me, but there is a skeleton and she's holding her skeleton baby. And that's emblematic of the fact that this is a 10, which means it's about to turn into an ace again. You know, and you have a 10 here, right? The wheel turns and becomes an ace again. So there's, it's the fullness is wonderful, but it leads to a brand new beginning, you know, so you have to be ready to release it as well. And then the Four of Cups is clarified with the World card. The World card is the biggest wheel in the sky. It's the biggest wheel in our life, you know. So turn the page, you know, close that book and open a new one. Like, you know, like what this grail that you're not seeing here, or that you're having an issue seeing or embracing or accepting as yours, is part of the new story. You know, you have finished an old story, and there's such a beautiful, bright, new story ahead of you. You know, step into your new life, I want to say. Step into your new life. I love this. And then, for beautiful Virgo, we have Ancient Oak Spirit, Strength And you've definitely gotten stronger. With that temperance energy, beautiful Virgo, you are much, much stronger. And then forest temple, enlightenment, no doubt. And then koi fish spirit, there is always enough. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about resources at all, beautiful Virgo. And otter spirit, you are never alone. Spirit is always with you. So are your gods, guides, and guardians, your angels, all the things, okay? Thank you so much for being here, beautiful Virgo. Thank you for being you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.